because like when I was doing a podcast, yeah, sure.
Because someone comes up the stairs and they will talk all the way up the landing.
Yeah. No, I was doing a podcast before at the Barrels Pub in Stopsley.
Yeah.
That's like a place where I do a lot of my podcasts in. And it was with this girl, Laura Conda, who I'm making a documentary of.
Yes.
You met Laura last week,
yes.
Right? When I came in. Wait, did you meet Laura last week?
I was in such a hurry last week.
Yeah, you just came in and out.
And then, do you know, actually, I've got to say this, right? That day I had a vintage Irish brooch on my scarf. And I've completely lost it. And I've lost it somewhere between...
When you met me,
no, before, potentially before that. I was really hoping that somehow it's got stuck to
my Well, I promise you, if I would have come across,
I was looking to see more of the.
Yeah, could you imagine if I've just added it on and I'm so brazen to sit in front of you now?
That taken off you.
I need to get like a Luton Irish Forum one.
We kind of don't have a badge.
Do you not?
No, we don't.
Yeah, I think we need to make this a thing.
I can get you a sticker, but
I think we need badges because that would be just the coolest thing. I can add it to the suit and show that I like to represent Luton Irish Forum.
Well, I'll put your business case to the trustees.
Yes, do it. Right, anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to the Luton's Deadpool podcast with me, Luton's Deadpool, and my special guest, Elleesa from Luton Irish Forum. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, it's great to be asked.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
It's awesome. I'm so excited to be here. If I'm perfectly honest, my knowledge of the Luton Irish Forum extended to as far as they're Irish, they're in Luton, and they look after people. That's kind of all I knew. And since getting in contact with you guys, well, actually, it was Nolette that contacted me about being in the Paddy's Day parade, right? And since then, I was like, this is such a big part of Luton, and I've never really looked into what they do and anything like that. So now I started doing my research into you guys, and oh my god, you're amazing. You're amazing. Everything that you guys do, and it's not just about Irish people. It's about everybody. It's about looking. It's really about looking after people in such a big way. So, thank you for having me last week to come and film the documentary as well.
It's a pleasure.
It was really nice. We got to go downstairs and meet Keith. Is it Keith?
It's Keith. Yes.
Keith is amazing. Such a ball of energy and such a kind man. He's so funny as well. I mean, I could literally do a podcast just talking about Keith. He's amazing.
I think we should interview Keith.
I think I should.
A lovely podcast.
Yeah, I think I will actually. I'll have a chat. Is he here today?
He should be. Yeah,
I'll have a chat with him when I go downstairs. But yeah, the things that they said about Keith, the people in the group, showed me the importance of Luton Irish Forum, because there were people in the group that had never been into art whatsoever, and they joined the group just before the pandemic, and then the pandemic struck and everything was online for the classes, but all of them said the same thing. Keith kept me going. Without Keith, I don't know what I would have done. He's given me a love for art. He's just there for me. I feel like I've got a good friend in Keith, and all of this is because Luton Irish Forum provides that space for that to happen. So yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed, and I adore you guys for what you do. Because
it's nice to be adored. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think you deserve it. There's a lot of people out there that maybe don't know about stuff, but yeah, could you tell me a little bit about Luton Irish Forum, what it means to you, and kind of some of the services it provides, if you don't mind?
Yeah, of course. I suppose the best way I tend to think is I'll be walking up the car park, which, there's a bit of a hill coming up to our car park, and you see our building, which is a beautiful dedicated building, and there's a sense of coming home for me when I walk in here, because I see the community being looked after, and there's something very powerful in that, whether it's a game of bingo or our tea and chat on a Thursday where we'll get a speaker in. People are being looked after. This is combating loneliness. It's helping people's mental health. You'll walk up into reception, there's always somebody waiting to be helped by our welfare team. And their net benefit gains are absolutely huge. I mean, we're talking multiple thousands. We also help people with Irish passports as well. It's such a broad thing. I mean, that's maybe some of the stuff that goes on in the building. But outside of that, I've just come back from Belfast, taking a party of young people from Cardinal Newman School. And we were looking at things like the peace walls and attending a future leaders conference. So it's about embracing our Irishness, but not just keeping that to ourselves, extending it through the whole community, intergenerationally, and just getting out there, really.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that is what I want institutions in Luton to kind of look like. That mentality of the all togetherness sort of thing. I really like that, and not only that, but there's a purpose with the, like say, with the Irishness to it, because Ireland is a fascinating country. I love going to Ireland. It's like I was saying on the way up.
Yeah.
It's my second home. It really is. Especially Limerick. I love Limerick.
Cool place. Yeah.
Really cool place. It's a very trendy place at the moment as well. But yeah, it's very similar to Luton in many ways as well, because it's got this horrible tag that people in Ireland talk about it. Yeah, it did have quite a bad name, but I mean, you look at it now, it's like I see Limerick as being a good kind of model for what Luton could be like if we start to adapt. And the art in Limerick is insane. There's murals on almost every building. And yeah, just the way that art is perceived in Limerick is it's held in such high regard. And that's kind of the same around a lot of Ireland. Art and poetry and literature is very, very important in the Irish world. Do you agree?
No, absolutely. As an Irish person who's done both creative writing degree, MA, and now on my PhD, I definitely agree with that sort of personally. But it's interesting when you say about art in terms of street art. So my hometown is a place called Dunleary, and a number of famous people who are associated with Dunleary have been put on murals. And then, of course, you go to the north, and one of the places that we took these young women to visit in Belfast is the Peace Walls, where there's fascinating murals. And the style of those murals has very much changed from quite militant Republican or militant Unionist to messages of peace, hope, and unity. So, art is a very expressive medium. And when you have it in the street, it's a lovely reminder, and it becomes a people's art. But that's just my feelings for it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like art has an impression on the community and on the town in terms of it makes things more positive. I can't really put my finger on as to why, but I think that just seeing a place in that kind of light where you walk down the road and there's just a beautiful piece of art on the side of a building, it kind of makes you feel more connected to the place.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Makes you go, oh, you say to your friend, oh, did you see that new thing that went up? And like, how nice is it? It looks lovely, doesn't it? It makes the area look nicer. And I think that there's stats that show things like when there's less litter in an area, that there's less crime in an area. I can't remember the exact stats, but I've spoken to the police about this before. Spoken to, do you know ABCD in Luton, the tidy up people that do, they go around picking up litter and stuff. Kev from there, me and him have talked about that as well. And there is a clear correlation between reduced litter and reduced crime. So to add to that, having beautiful bits of artwork in the street should surely lead to better results in the community as well. Because I think that when you see a place looking better, you want to look after it more. And it makes you feel more connected to it and more connected to the people. You become there's more of a oneness and this is our place sort of thing. And when people feel like that, I think that it makes a place unique and brilliant. And that's definitely what I take from Limerick every time I go. I always think when I come back here, I wish that there was more art just everywhere. We're very lucky in Luton. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of cool looking places. But I wish that we had murals like that.
Yeah, murals are very powerful.
Yeah, like look at the one just down the road from here. If you dream it, you must do it. Yeah. That big one there. So many people say when they walk past that in the mornings on the way to work or from work, they see that and it inspires them just by seeing that big piece of art sitting on the side of the hat factory. And it's a powerful image. And yeah, I think we should have more of them. So Yeah, but you guys here, you're making a lot of art. You've got a great art class down there. Have you ever been in the art class? Have you ever done any of the drawing or anything?
Well, no, I don't think I've done any drawing since school, but I'm certainly in awe of the work that's done there. And I was talking to Keith, and I sort of said, well, how do you go about this? Because like some people, do you get everyone painting the same thing? And he said, well, maybe he started out that way. And there's a tree and there's a woman and there's a this. But by the end of it, people were developing their own style. And that is very important. When you go in there, it's not, I think there's some art classes where you go along and it's like you all end up with a sort of almost template picture.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen downstairs. People are discovering their strengths and the things that are important to them and committing them to canvas. And that surely has got to be good about their own personal identity and mental health.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody I spoke to down there said that this has great benefit for the mental health side of things. By being creative, it relieves anxiety, I think. Again, I'm not like a doctor or an expert on any of this. I'm a dude in a suit. But what I personally feel is that when you're creative, it gives you a chance to kind of get outside yourself, and then you don't feel the pressure of the weight of whatever's going on in the world, because ultimately all the anxieties that we feel, they're kind of like exasperated, right? They're not really as big as what we make them out to be. Like, you might worry that, I don't know, let's see, I should have thought about this before I started saying it, shouldn't I? No, but
is this a kind of don't sweat the small stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've got things like, oh, I'm going to be late for this meeting, and you might be getting so anxious. You turn up to the meeting, and then everything that comes out of you is fed from that negative energy. And then the meeting isn't going to go anywhere near as well because you entered it with anxiety, right? And I think that's something to do with like real anxiety that we used to have when we lived in the woods and there were tigers that would eat us. And do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's like a historical anxiety.
Coming in, and I obviously was in touch with you. I wasn't worried about tigers. I was a bit worried about the F-17 not turning up.
Yeah.
But I take what you mean, and a lot of it does perhaps go back into sort of our primal state. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Anything that we can do here to improve people's mental health, we're really keen to do. And another project that this is a very strong project for us. It's helping people get back into work by giving them the skills to complete a CV and to use a computer, because you're either somebody who is on board with that at whatever level, or not being able to use a computer kind of alienates you from even signing on for universal credit, because everything now is computer sort of orientated. And that's been a very important, I think 22 people have been gotten jobs.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. And to think that, without that help, like you say, computer skills nowadays is a basic requirement for any job that you're going to do. Even if you're a manual worker, you're going to need to know how to use a computer to access your pay and holidays and whatever else you may need. You're going to need to send emails, without a doubt, nowadays, for everything. It's impossible sometimes to get hold of someone on the phone, but you have to email if you want to get in contact with somebody. So yeah, it's a vitally important skill that you need to have. So it's brilliant that you guys are teaching people that. So yeah, let's go into like more of the kind of history now of the Luton Irish Forum, because Luton Irish Forum's been around for quite a long time. Am I right?
It was started in 1997.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the time, and it's when you say 1997, the first thing I'm going to say is that's the same year as my eldest son was born. So some of that feels a long time ago, and some of it feels really recent. Speaking personally. But for the Irish in Luton, these were people who were very proud people. Maybe at that time, they didn't want to show that pride outwardly because events had happened because of the Troubles, which maybe just wanted to keep your head down. I'm trying to phrase that very carefully because I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
But we needed to reclaim our pride as a community.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the first ways that we went about that was through welfare. We had a a guy here who was a trustee and former leader of our St Patrick's Committee, a lovely man called Mick Maguire. And anecdotally, he was saying about Irish people sitting in Luton Arndale Centre, as it was known then, because they couldn't afford their heating bills.
Yeah.
No, which is in a way is
sad.
very, very topical now.
Yeah.
And it was like those people were too proud to come forward and say, I need help. So from those sort of very humble beginnings of helping with welfare and something called the Irish pension, which was, I suppose briefly, somebody who had worked in Ireland prior to coming here could obtain an Irish pension if they had paid enough stamps.
Yeah.
Without going into all the boring technical bits.
Yeah.
But it was a way of helping people financially. And through those welfare routes, certainly not in a building like this, very much sort of loaned accommodation. That's a kind of start point for this, and a start point for a very, very different St Patrick's Day. I mean, the St Patrick's Day we're about to go into is absolute all singing, all dancing. The first one, it's called, is it Pope's Meadow? I believe it was from there. I wasn't at that. I'm remembering this was somebody's told me, and this was people walking behind their county flag on a very cold day. And now we're quite used to having lots of sort of St Patrick's decorations and, you know, being very full on, but not having those things, but just this walk and some stalls selling Irish food.
Yeah.
But you have to start there. Where I remember going to it, probably within 2 or 3 years after that, with my children, it felt amazing just in that short period of time. It had expanded, people had ideas, because that's what happens. And Mick, that I've mentioned to you, he'd gone to New York and he had seen the St Patrick's Parade there and come back absolutely buzzing to improve this.
Yeah.
So now we're in our 24th year for the St Patrick's Parade, and hoping that the weather stays kind to us, although we've had a blizzard one year and we had to go indoors. This is going to be really big. But see, this isn't about it just being big for the Irish, because if that was the case, I think it would really be boring. Luton really, in my head, is a town where a lot of festivals take place. And that's a really positive thing. And this is for everyone. Just come along, get your coat on, because it might be a bit cold, but there's going to be music. It's free. It's a sense of, I don't know, just joyousness after winter. And I think we all need a bit of that.
I definitely agree. Yeah. I'm so excited for the festival. I mean, I've been to some over the years. I haven't gone every year, just due to maybe I'm not around on the particular day, but I have really enjoyed the festival each time that I've gone, and like say, like trying different food as well. Because the thing is people assume because the country we're so close together that it's the exact same food. It's not at all. Not at all. There's similarities there, but I prefer Irish food. I know people might come at me now for saying this, but I do. I think that, like, you know, the only thing that I won't like, me and my Irish friend argue about quite a lot, is what's better, an English breakfast or an Irish breakfast.
Ooh.
Now, I'm in the Irish Forum, so I'm going to say an Irish breakfast.
I would miss a breakfast that didn't have black and white pudding and a nice soda file with it. You know, I must admit, when I go back to Ireland and I see that's a great breakfast for me.
Yeah.
You know, but so there will be food at the St Patrick's Festival. In fact, not just food that's Irish. I believe we've got a Hungarian stall there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, you know, on a cold day, you might want some of that. But again, it's about this sort of multiculturalism, because within our parade, we've got Bhangra Smash Up, and we've got an Islamic arts group as well, with fantastic costumes which were made by the Carnival Arts Centre. We have the UK Centre for Carnival Arts. It's amazing. We've actually got that in Luton, and they have all these beautiful Eid costumes. So it's everybody hopefully coming out. I know we also have very strong links with the Polish community.
Yeah.
And this year, the parade is going to be led by a representative from the Turkish community and Ukrainian, because we just want to show solidarity.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And it goes, for me, it shows what the great things that the Irish community can offer to not just Luton, but to the rest of the world. I mean, the Irish are everywhere.
Yeah,
they are absolutely, you cannot go to, you can't find a country where there aren't Irish people in it. And I think that wanting to explore and connect and find out more, it's like, that's what we should be like as people. Because when I go to Ireland, it's like, especially in Limerick, it's turning such a multicultural place. It never used to be, but it's such a multicultural place now. And I think that the effect that they've had on the rest of the world, more people now want to go to them and to find out what's going on and why it's such a great place. And the people that I talk to there who are immigrants from other countries in Africa or in Asia or wherever they come from. I was speaking to a guy actually who was working in the Pharmacia pub in Limerick. It's like one of my friends owns this pub. Big shout out to you, Mike. I don't know if you watch this, but I'm going to give you a shout out anyway. He had this guy who's come to work for him, and he's from Chile. And I was like, mate, no offense, but why did you pick Ireland and why did you pick Limerick?
Yeah.
And he was like, because there were Irish. I think he said there was Irish people where he was from, and he just loved the idea of Ireland, and so he went, and that's the effect it had.
That's so cool.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And there's more people I spoke to there that had similar stories where they've had encounters with Irish people. And they're like, I want to go to like Britain or something like that, but I'm going to check out Ireland first. And then they've gone and they've stayed there because it's a fantastic place. You know, it's got its problems, just same as everywhere else. But I've just got such a massive love for it. And I think more people need to go. There's a lot of people who I talk to who are from Luton who have Irish family and they've never been to Ireland. And I just can't understand it. Like, as soon as you go to Ireland, you mention that you're Irish. The love and support that you get shown by the people is insane. I've never seen people so proud of where they're from. That's kind of what makes it a great place. It is to me.
Well, I'm not going to disagree. I think we have so many Irish in Luton. If you start to sort of unravel the history, after World War II, Britain literally needed rebuilding. Okay, and then you also had things like the M1 motorway, L&D hospital, and put the sociology head on and say large centres of unskilled labour, which doesn't sound too complimentary about us, but at that point there was very little work in Ireland, and that's when people started to come over. It was a massive wave of emigration, and there have been waves since then, but that's the big one, the post-war sort of emigration sort of time, and people settled. And one of the things I found, because I was interviewing in a very different community, well, potentially it sounded different. I was interviewing within the Sikh community, and you ask somebody, why have you come here? And they thought, well, better life for my family, etc., etc., etc. And that ends up being the reasons you don't go back as well. That you get so used to it, and your children have put down roots here, and you don't want to miss seeing the grandchildren. So, you end up staying in Luton and being part of that community.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm grateful that people that come from Ireland and come from India and Pakistan, wherever else in the world, people come to flock to England, and then specifically they come to Luton. I'm so grateful. Especially, in fact, hold on one second. I've just had a thought before I go. Right, sorry about that. As usual, I'm just checking my equipment because I just experience technical difficulties all the time. I just want to make sure it's working.
It's okay, give me a drink, get a bit of tea.
Yeah, we had a little 5-minute break, but yeah, it was nice. No, I just wanted to say that on the point of like with people coming over here, it made Luton the great place it is today. Like, the one thing that I hear about, like, I'm making this documentary and I'm asking people, why is Luton great to them? What makes Luton special? What do you love about Luton? Everybody says the same thing. It's because of the community. It's because of the diversity. It's because of the togetherness, all of that stuff. And
Agree.
Diversity always comes up every time. I mean, I feel like because of growing up I grew up in like Berry Park initially when I was with my mum till I was about 6 years old, I think, and then we moved to Stopsley. So I had like two very different places in Luton because Stopsley back then was very white. I think I had like maybe I was one of 5 kids in my year group who like had any sort of colour to them whatsoever.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that I saw from that side of things that when people aren't mixed with a lot of people, there was a lot more racism. There was a lot more. But when I returned to places like Berry Park, where it is such a diverse mixing pot, yeah, there are problems with racism, obviously, but there's more togetherness because if your neighbour's brown on one side and white on the other side, and I don't know, Chinese on the other side, and we've got all of these different people, you learn about the community. You don't just like make an assumption of what it's like to be a Chinese person, for instance, or what it's like to be an Indian person. You don't make that assumption because they're your neighbour.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you meet more, you're already like, you don't have that front up to say like, oh, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Because I think going back to the whole primal thing, I think that's kind of where those racist ideas come from, is because it's like a fear thing. Like I don't know you, you're different to me. And the only way we break that down is by being together. You know what I mean?
I read a very interesting book as well called Islam and the Victorians. I can't remember who authored it now, but it's a factual book. And when you see the way that particular faith was represented in the 19th century, and anything you do for a long period of time, how you break that down afterwards, you can see that this awful legacy that has now got to be dismantled.
Yeah.
And
was it quite negative then in the book? Like as in what people were like in the 19th century?
Yes. Yeah, the whole perception of anybody who the book's called Islam and the Victorians, but to say a Victorian person, and I'm also going to cite the film Victoria and Abdul as well, that the white colonists didn't really understand the not to say divisions, but the different faiths within the Indian subcontinent, lumped everybody together and was deeply mistrustful of them. In fact, there's an Irish writer, and a lot of her stories, which are set in India, where your servants will kill you and nick your stuff.
Oh wow!
So when you have stories on a creative level, when you have those sorts of attitudes, it just gets ingrained and it just has to go.
Yeah.
But it is about dismantling that, and like you say, being with people is the quickest way of dismantling it, because you soon see that everybody's doing exactly the same thing as you. They're getting up for work in the morning, they're getting their kids out the door, and they're trying to have a family life.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Yeah, I saw something a couple of years ago. Darren Brown thing. Do you know Darren Brown?
I do. Yes.
The
Illusionist. I can't say it. Illusionist. You know.
No, don't worry. I know.
Magician.
Yeah, I think I'm putting you off with this. Don't worry about it. No, but I wonder what he would think about it. No, I'm going off topic. Don't worry about it. So. Yeah, I watched this thing that he done a few years ago. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might have been called Miracle or something like that. And basically, he's going around dismantling different ideas and perceptions that people have, right? Like, so one of the episodes was he took people from a certain area of America they're very red state, center of the country, don't mingle with too many different races. It's just a lot of white people in one area, and their views on immigration and on Mexicans especially were like, oh my God, it was horrendous. Some of the things these people were saying on camera, knowing that they was being recorded, and still saying the horrible things that they said about like the Mexicans. I just couldn't believe that you could harbour that level of hate without actually knowing a person. And what Darren done is he performed this thing, which it's like, I don't even know. I need to do my research before I start talking about things. But basically, it's this kind of this experiment they did before about looking into someone's eyes, right? You sit face to face, like literally knee to knee, and you just look into a person's eyes, and you do it for 4 minutes. And by the end of it, the pair of you will be in absolute floods of tears, and you will create a connection with that person like none other. Because staring into someone's eyes is what the thought is that it's like you're seeing that person as just being like you. So he done that with a Mexican guy, just a random Mexican guy, and somebody that he'd interviewed. And by the end of it, this person said, I can't. They didn't even you're not supposed to speak a word, anything. But by the end of it, they were hugging. He was saying sorry for all the things he thought about this man. The man didn't even know what he thought about him
quite
before.
Surprised,
yeah. But it really worked. It was like just that is enough to break down that idea. So if you've got a neighbour who is different to you, maybe go knock on their door and like have a chat, see how they are, and if you do have them kind of thoughts about people where you make an othering of people, then the best way to find out for yourself if your ideas actually hold water is go and have a chat, because I guarantee you'll feel silly afterwards. Like I've got neighbours on my road who like I'll go and have a cup of tea with every now and then. Not so much lately. I've been very, very busy, and so have they. But I used to go around and have cups of tea, especially with one neighbour. We come from two completely different cultural backgrounds, and I used to think my whole impression was if you come from two completely different backgrounds, it's hard to be friends. But actually, it's better to be friends when you have that, because there's more to learn from each other. There's more spaces for conversations, because if you're just the same as someone else, after a while you're sitting in like an echo chamber and you're just hearing your own voice, and that's not fun. That doesn't progress you in any way, shape or form. The best way to progress like your thoughts to talk to people who are different to you, I think. But yeah, and like definitely that's what the Irish Forum provides here, is that space. Like when I went down to your art class, there was so many different people down there. I think there was like one Irish person.
I think of all of our classes, that's the one that's attracted such a broad cross section of people. And others of our clubs will be a place for Irish seniors, which is also a good thing.
Yeah.
All of those things are important and special. But the art class, yeah, definitely.
One thing that I read this morning, because I did do a tiny bit of research.
Thank you.
I try to not do any research, because I do like to come at things as a layman, because there are people out there that don't know anything about. I don't want to like say something that I've learned and we both know about it, but they don't know about it.
Cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to come in as a complete layman. So I actually try to not do any research, which makes me sound so unprofessional, but there is a point to it. But yeah, I did do a little bit this morning, and I came across this part of the Irish Forum that I didn't know about at all, and I think is absolutely lovely. And everybody out here that's watching right now, please have a look at this and see if you can help, because it's beautiful. It's the befriending thing. Oh my God, I want to sign up to do that. I think after this we can talk, and like maybe I can help out in some way, because I would love to do something like that. Where, well, first, could you explain what it is?
Yeah, of course I can. Okay, so there are some people who their lives are a bit lonely. They can't maybe make it into our centre for whatever reason, and lots of things keep you away. You could have caring responsibilities. You could have a disability. You might suffer with your poor mental health. But the befriending service is one where you've got a phone call, or you've got somebody coming to your home, and just being with you, just there, befriending. It's as simple as no agenda, or maybe doing some shopping for you, that kind of thing. And particularly during COVID, that became very, very important, because we were all isolated.
Yeah.
But for some people, they were isolated before things even started. Yeah. So shopping, just sitting with, talking to, engaging with somebody, it's such an important thing.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I've always looked at things like that, like and tried to help that. I used to work in the old people's home.
Cool.
When that was my first job. When I was fresh out of school. Mum said, go get a job or get out.
Yeah, all right.
Do you know what I mean? She sorted me out very, very early.
That's good careers advice.
It gets you a job, trust me. People back then, I remember when I was 16, it was like, there's no jobs out there. No, you can't find work. I got a job within about a week after my mum saying that. So, it's possible. But yeah, I was a trainee chef in a old people's home, and my favourite part of the job was there was this old boy Derek who used to come upstairs and he used to steal my cigarettes, right? Which, by the way, it was legal to smoke at 16 back then. It's not anymore. 16-year-olds don't smoke, don't vape. It's bad for your health. I don't do that stuff. Please don't do that stuff. It's terrible for you. Anyway, Derek used to steal my cigarettes, and he would just sit on the freezer, the big chest freezer, and we would just chat for absolutely hours. And I didn't realise it, but he was incredibly lonely. He never said it. It was only sadly, when he passed away, I found out that the reason why he would spend so much time with me is because apparently I reminded him of himself at that age.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. He never said it.
Yeah.
It was like we were just two mates, you know what I mean? And I had this presumption as well, pre this, that old people I can't talk to because we're different generations and we just have nothing to talk about and blah, blah, blah. And do you know what? No, they're the most beautiful conversations you have, especially when it's someone that comes from your area, has lived there for a very long time. They can tell you some things that you're going to find fascinating about the places where you've been, and not just that, just their own life. People don't need to have necessarily lived like an incredibly amazing life either. It's just nice to hear from them their perspective of what they view life as, and you can have incredibly deep conversations with anybody. But when there's that age gap, I think there's a lot to be gained in that. So yeah, I've always been a big advocate for keeping in contact with older people and being there for them. And I would absolutely love to get involved somehow.
Right. Well, we need to sign you up then, don't we?
100%. Yeah.
I do also want to say that when we sign people up to this, that we make sure that they're DBS'd. I just want to stress that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out I'm more than happy. Look, I'm more than happy.
That's maybe one to sort offline. The reason I'm saying about DBS is not because of your situation. Deadpool. Have I put that down on the floor? But just to reassure anyone who's listening to the podcast that we take great pains to ensure that it's safe for everybody. Yeah, I
think that's rule number one, because there are some people out there that would take advantage of that situation. So I'm glad that you guys do your due diligence there and make sure that people are looked after in the right way. But I thank you so much for the work that you guys do, because this is what we need. We need more of this in this town, in our community. We need to be making friends. I love that. That everything that you guys do is it's to look after people, but it's also to build long-lasting friendships and relationships between not just people but the town, the community. It's just so important for my children's future. I can only imagine the impact that Luton's Irish Forum has had on this town has only been positive.
Well, we'd like to hope so. We'd like to think it's brought people together, that it's improved people's mental health. I mean, we do survey our members and we say, are you less reliant on going to the doctor, or, those kind of questions. How are you feeling in yourself if you've come to our events? And, we get a very positive feedback from that. I'm rubbish at quoting stats. I'm so sorry. But it is positive, and where things aren't positive, then we try and listen to that and think, what can we do better? Because everyone can always improve, and we just hope we're here for a very long time to come.
Well, me too. I'm really, really happy with the stuff that you guys do, and I want more people to get involved. Like I said, anyone out there, you can get onto Luton Irish Forum website, and there's a sign-up bit for the befriending, what you can do. Or you can contact them on the social medias,
absolutely.
On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of them you can get at them on. Obviously, there's so many events that they take part in throughout the town across the year. Loads of people that you work with as well that sponsor you guys, and you sponsor.
Yes.
There's so much going on. Honestly, if you haven't heard who these guys are, get to know. If you do know, help more. We need Luton Irish Forum like crazy. I can't think of another thing to say that would outdo all of the previous things I've said. Sorry, I've just run out of things to say.
Well,
no, but I really mean
note,
it. It's just beautiful.
You know, befriending is not for everyone. Some people might not be their thing, but we do want volunteers.
Yeah.
Because many of our volunteers, and we have got 60 people who volunteer.
Crazy.
In fact, behind me is the Queen's Award for volunteering, which is something that we were awarded the other year. But some of our volunteers are quite elderly people who are still doing their absolute best for us. But we need new blood coming in.
Need some young people come through, yeah.
We do. And volunteering isn't something that you have to do all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But any skills that people can offer, come and talk to us. Yeah. That would be amazing. And also you can sign up through the website for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we can wrap it up there. St. Paddy's Day next week, 18th, right?
Saturday the 18th
of this month, March. We are going to be out in force. I'm going to be there. We're going to have loads of fun stuff going on. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope that I see some of you there. People in Luton, come down, show your support, show your love for the Irish community, because they love you, trust me.
Show your love for Luton.
Show your love for Luton. I love that, yeah. No, thank you so much, Elleesa. I really appreciate you having me in. I look forward to working with you guys more and more and more. It's
Thank you. Awesome. You're very welcome.
Cool. All right, love you, Luton. See you later. Bye. That was perfect. Thank you so much.